Welcome all to Wild Card Weekend. Week 17 was Jekyll and Hyde for Billy and I. You were either on the good end or the bad end of Week 17. And here's our picks on the season. Last week's question of the week asked the viewers, predict the Green Bay Packers at Detroit Lions final score. There were a few people who guessed the correct score in the comments of the video, including Kermit the Frog and Anthony Simeon, who both hit the nail on the head with 31-24 Green Bay. However, there was one person on my Twitter feed that has won a New Era winter beanie of the team of their choice because they correctly followed the instructions for the Twitter contest and picked the winning score of the game. Gavin OC4 correctly predicted the 31-24 score with Green Bay winning it and will now be given a New Era winter beanie of the team of his choice. Congratulations. For the top 5 teams leading into Wildcard Weekend, a lot has shifted in every spot in our top 5. At number 5, we bring in a new team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Although their win against the Browns was not pretty, they definitely have some of the best talent on the team, and they are well rested heading into this week. At number 4, a slight drop from last week's number 3 is the Atlanta Falcons. A big win against the Saints locked in the number 2 seed, but the number 3 position this week, in my mind, proved themselves yet again and won the AFC West. A Cowboys loss is not the reason that they fell to number 2, but ultimately because the Patriots have more veterans and playoff caliber players on their team compared to that of the young team that has carried the Cowboys to an amazing season. Our first matchup features the likes of the Oakland Raiders traveling into Houston to take on the Texans. Could you guys imagine how great of a game this would be if both featured players, Derek Carr and JJ Watt, played for their respective teams? Well, it looks like this game is just another fizzle for the NFL, seeing as it got the worst time slot on the worst day for NFL football. I can't imagine either fan base being happy with how their teams have finished the season last week and the recent injuries that have led to their downfall. I see both of these teams as the 2 weakest teams in the AFC, even below the Dolphins. With Derek Carr out and last week's QB debacle for Oakland, I like the Texans defense to win big. I feel horrible for Raiders fans to come so far into the season and have a promising playoff run only to have your team's MVP get injured. I hope Carr has a speedy recovery.
I like the Oakland Raiders plus 3.5 in this one against the Houston Texans and straight up. I think the Raiders defense will be able to keep them in this game for a while. The Texans offense is not very good. Their defense is okay, but not as good as the Texans usually are on defense. So I think the Raiders will be able to move the ball and do just enough to win this game. So take the Raiders plus 3.5 and straight up.
Our second matchup features 2 more teams who also stumbled into Week 17. Seattle and Detroit probably would like to redo their last 2 games of the season to prove that they are stronger than they really appear. Let's get one thing straight. I think the Lions keep this one close. 7.5 points is way too much to give the Seahawks at home with the recent way that they have been playing down to opponents. Now, who wins this one overall? I think that Seattle just scoots by the Lions by a point or 2. Both defenses have been suspect as of late, and both offenses have playmakers to win, but with the game being in Seattle, the edge has to be given to the 12th man. This game will definitely be closer than most people will think.
I like the Detroit Lions plus 7.5 against the Seattle Seahawks, but I like the Seahawks straight up. Seattle's not the same defense that they used to be without Earl Thomas, but playing at home, I think it's a tough task for the Lions to come in and win this game. I think they'll do just enough to stay in it, but not be able to pull it out. Seattle wins this game by like 4 or 5. So take Seattle straight up, but the Lions plus 7.5.
Our third matchup in the wildcard weekend features a faltering Dolphins team who made it into the playoffs in Week 16 and a Steelers team who sat their starters to rest them in Week 17. To me, I think Matt Moore gives the Dolphins team an edge. He threw 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in his last 3 games, and this is pretty impressive to me as a backup. Throw in a healthy Jay Ajayi and the team is complete. On the other side of the ball, quite possibly the second best trio in the NFL with Bell, Brown, and Big Ben. With them being rested last week, fans are expecting a blowout against the Dolphins defense. Against the spread, I think 8.5 points is too much to give Pittsburgh, even with the game in Pittsburgh. This one comes down to special teams, as we know both offenses have multiple weapons to score. Look for a special teams touchdown to split the matchup for Pittsburgh to win it straight up. It will be interesting to see how far the Steelers team goes, with the up and down season that they had in the first 10 weeks.
All right, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 8.5 against the Dolphins here. I think the Steelers are the most complete offense in the league, and the Dolphins are going to have trouble if they get down scoring, catching up with Matt Moore. I think the Steelers defense is going to stack the box and make Matt Moore beat them through the air, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that and score enough points to keep up with the Steelers offense. The Dolphins defense ranks, I think, like around 26 in the league. So the Steelers are going to score a bunch of points on them, and I think they're going to run away with this one. So take the Steelers minus 8.5 and straight up.
This leads us to this week's question of the week and our first Twitter playoff challenge for another New Era winter beanie of the team of your choice. The best or closest comments get featured in next week's video, and the first correct entry on Twitter wins this week's prize. These are the same rules as always. Retweet the question when posted, use the hashtag, and reply with your answer. Predict Jay Ajayi and Le'Veon Bell's rushing yards in this week's Miami at Pittsburgh matchup. This is rushing yards only, not total yards. Good luck to all, and don't forget to submit your entry on Twitter to win that prize. And our last matchup is definitely going to be the best matchup of Wildcard Weekend and poses the biggest uncertainty amongst prognosticators. Green Bay went into Detroit and Aaron threw for 4 touchdowns against the Lions defense, while the Giants really didn't have anything to play for but still loved playing upset to end the Redskins' playoff chances. It will be Rodgers versus the Giants D, and in that category, I like Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau. Since the spread is only 4.5, I'm going to take the Packers to cover this spread, and I can already hear it now from the Giants fans who think I pick against them every week. This is just a smart pick.
All right, I like the Green Bay Packers minus 4.5 against the New York Giants. The Packers are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is playing at MVP level, and the Giants players don't seem to be as focused, but their offense has been struggling, and I don't think that they'll be able to keep up playing in Lambeau Field in the cold. So take the Green Bay Packers minus 4.5 and straight up.
And here is the review of our picks for Wildcard Weekend. In the Hatbox Pick'em League, Cameron Cressamore is still our sole leader this week, who has an overall record of 171 and 83. In the Hatbox Survivor Pool, Week 17 treated our top 2 with grace. Both Eagleman 123 and Tennessee Titans picked the Steelers in Week 17, and they won by 3 points. Congratulations to them, and don't forget to set your picks by the end of this week. Since Gavin OC4 won last week's Twitter prize, we will be giving away another New Era winter beanie of the team of your choice. Just follow the rules over on my Twitter profile. Be sure to follow my account, retweet the Wildcard Weekend question, and use the hashtag HatboxNationWC. Don't forget to set your lineups in my Pick'em and Survivor pools, and don't forget to answer this week's question of the week. I hope all of you have a great week making your predictions and enjoy the games. I'll see you dudes into the next video. Peace.